Where do daredevils come from? At his school in California, veteran stuntman Jim Kahana trains the daredevils of the future. And though they may call the jump suicide, safety and training are of prime concern.
Approach the trampoline with your feet distanced apart so that when you're going to hit the tramp, your left foot will be forward, okay? Then you watch your spot on here, because if you're not watching the trampoline, your foot could get caught here, or when you jump, it could get caught in between the springs.
Hopeful to become stuntmen for films, these young people must first learn their craft from the basics up. Without the proper equipment and professional training, none of these stunts should ever be tried.
Okay, this is a special harness made for this. How's it feel? All right. And just remember, you guys, you can't do this without this type of jacket. You have to have the special materials and the equipment for these sort of things. Now walk the bike out. Walk it out little by little so you can feel where it's coming to. Keep going. Keep going.
A dangerous movie stunt is demonstrated and attempted, each step of the way blocked and discussed. If done incorrectly or without proper equipment, the illusion of being shot off a horse or speeding motorcycle can be fatal. It requires training.
Okay, hold it. How'd that one feel? Alright, bang. Look good. That looks going good.
How do you feel?
All right.
Good grief. There is danger in everything. What I try to do is set the stunt up and make the illusion out of it and show them the difference between what you can do without thinking and what you can do with thinking.
I'm gonna do a suicide here. Actually, just land on your back and your butt like. But see the difference here, you gotta go a lot slower because it's a distance. You fall, if you go too far, you land on your neck, so I'll give it a shot.
Daredevil is a guy that just says, well, let's just go for it. Stuntman nowadays kind of figures everything out and makes it look like an illusion. That's what we want to do with these kids. We want them to know that there's an illusion factor. Children, kids, they have no fear whatsoever. They'll do anything. So what I have to do is try to mold that energy that they have into safety. All kids love to do anything. If they see somebody jumping off a building, they want to do it too.
Somewhere in the enthusiasm of these young people, we may find the seed of the daredevil wish. The belief that there is always a way to do what seems impossible. Perhaps the ultimate daredevil story belongs to Chuck Strange, pickup pilot.
Well, I love the sound of crunching metal. That's what it started out to be. I started off with demolition derbies and really enjoyed it. And I started wanting to be more specialized and have my very own unique act. Nobody was jumping a pickup. They said it was impossible, and I said, great. Next thing you know, I'm flying a truck through the air. Flying a pickup is just one of the ultimate stunts. I mean, it's unheard of. You shouldn't be doing it. The very first pickup jump was ramp to ground, and the doctor said I should have died in that one. I landed so hard that they said my spine should have been shoved into my skull, and I should have been a foot shorter, which just ruins their wardrobe. My world record jump, 107 feet over 18 cars, was set at the Ontario Motor Speedway, and that jump in itself was in fact flying a truck through the air further and farther and higher than the Wright brothers' first airplane flight. Your lineup is very critical. A bike jumper can look at his ramps and his speed and the whole thing at one time. When you're in that pickup, you've got to look at the speed or your ramps. Coming down the lane, you've got to make sure your mouth is closed or you'll bite your tongue off from the blow. You've got to exhale, where your normal reaction is to inhale. To me, something scary is to go swimming.
Why a daredevil seeks out danger and death has been researched by psychologist and sociologist Dr. Samuel Z. Klausner, author of Why Man Dares.
What they've done is increase the general energy level by going through fear. And by going through fear and overcoming fear, they end up with a quantum, with an amount of euphoria that they couldn't have enjoyed otherwise. And that's the base of the motive for doing some of these thrill-seeking things.
They know the thin line between euphoria and horror.
I never had any nightmares until that fateful dome crash. And when that happened, I mean, I don't know, it must have taken me at least 6 months. I mean, I would literally wake up in the middle of the night, the usual routine you always hear about, sweating, and I would just relive that crash over and over again. And it was rather horrifying because it was a very spectacular crash. And just to think about it, you know, kind of gives you a shiver.
The place, the Houston Astrodome, 1978.
On the pass that I made to go up the ramp, the suspension broke. I just knew I was in trouble.
Most of the 59,000 people watching were sure that Chuck Strange was dead, a fear shared even by his own crew.
Next thing I know, I was knocked unconscious from a blow to my nose, which broke my nose. It came just that close to cutting my head off. About 30 seconds later, I came to, and your head's down, there's blood gushing out of your mouth, your nose. The first thing you see are your bones sticking up out of your arms. Your elbows are broken. As a result, I was hospitalized for 4 weeks and had to undergo 7 operations, 6 to my arms and 1 to my nose for plastic surgery.
We sometimes wonder why people return to the stress-seeking situation, even when engaging in stress-seeking, doing something risky, leads to physical harm. People will end up in the hospital, and as soon as they're out of the hospital, go back into the stress-seeking act. One of the things that we find is that there's an obsessional character, and if you will, almost an addictive aspect to stress-seeking. Once somebody has tasted it, the need to do it again becomes even stronger than it was the first time.
I'm not going to be satisfied until I've flown a truck over 40 cars.
After 2 years of recovery and countless operations, Daredevil Chuck Strange plans his future.
I've also got this hell-bent dream, if you don't mind, that I want to fly a diesel truck with trailers. And I want to jump that over at least 20 cars, 25, right in that area. I'm convinced, I've worked out the possibilities. I know I can do it. I've got it all worked out, and I'm just very anxious to fly a diesel truck through the air.
Most of the daredevils have a deep desire to live to the hilt, and they're engaging in these stress-seeking activities are really ways in which they can maximize the effect of their living.
They think I have a death wish, people on my line. 3 times now I'm supposed to have died. The doctors have said you did not survive that crash. So I've jokingly said I'm immortal. But when you come that close to dying, and believe me, I've been there, I think you appreciate life. I know you appreciate life more than the average person does. I mean, sure, people are out there that have been injured bad and are still depraved in some way, but when you've come that close to dying, just a simple thing like seeing the sun come up, the birds singing, to get up and walk again with your own feet, I appreciate life very, very much. I do not want to die. I believe in what I'm doing. If I thought I'd die tomorrow, I would never get in a pickup again. I've always said I'm either going to be dead or retired by the time I'm 35, and I got to get in there.
It's very easy for the daredevil to go over the brink, to push himself or herself to the edge and move into self-destruction, so that being a daredevil or a stress seeker almost can become suicidal.
Let us warn the foolhardy. What professional daredevils do, let others not try to imitate. Recognize the dangers for what they are. Daredevils are special members of our society. By taking us with them to the edge of life, they make us acutely aware of our mortality and the value of our existence. We can all feel a little more alive because of these extraordinary people and their daredevil death wish.
Coming up next, In Search Of continues with an investigation of firewalking. Then, on FBI The Untold Stories, see the story of hijacker D.B. Cooper. And on Sunday night, battle veterans and historians explore in depth the first combat hotspot of the Cold War in the Korean War, Fire and Ice. Beginning at 8 here on the History Channel, where the past comes alive.